It just shows her character.
I like that line! Yeah, it's a perfect example of her character, and like she just gets into weird stuff like that. And the fact that this 12 or 13-year-old girl could be so excited about a refrigerated truck is pretty awesome to me, and why I love her as a character and as a role model. She's awesome. The other was explain my process, like through high school and college for acting. You mean? In high school, I did a lot of electives. I was in marching band for 2 years. Yeah, right? I know. I played trumpet, and hey! I don't anymore. Hey! Now I haven't played trumpet since the 10th, 11th grade or so. I played trumpet. I was in show choir, and yay! Jazz hands. Jazz hands and box steps. That's show choir. And then I did theater. I did not take any of the drama classes in high school because you can only have so many electives. And a lot of my elective time was taken up with music stuff. But I could still be in the plays. So I auditioned for the plays, and I did a couple like community theater shows through high school. And then for college, I went to the University of Texas at Arlington because I have family who live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I moved from California, where I'm from, to Texas and lived with family and went to school. And the program has grown a lot at UTA, but at the time it was still smaller. And the reason I chose that over, say, just University of Texas at Austin or somewhere else is in larger theater programs, you may not get to be on stage because you're competing with a lot more actors that are better than you. And, or they give priority to senior students. So like seniors get to be on stage, but freshmen don't. And at UTA, that wasn't an issue. In my freshman year, I had 2 leads, and it was pretty awesome. So I went to college for 5 years, actually, because I took the minimum number of hours to be considered full-time. Because theater is a really involved major. You're at rehearsal all the time, building sets all the time, plus all of your schoolwork that's not related to your major. So I spent 5 years in college. I was the president of the Theater Honor Fraternity Society for like 2 or 3 years. In my senior year, like my last semester, my second senior year of college is when I took a tour of Funimation because a friend of mine works there, still does. And on the tour, I met a director who gave me an audition on the spot. 4 days later, I was working there, and 12 years later, I still do. So, that's my process. Hooray! Yeah. No one is waving at me or telling me to stop, so I'll just keep, we're plenty fine. Anyone who hasn't asked one yet? Over here.
Does voice acting involve a lot of traveling, and what does scenic place eventually?
Does voice acting involve a lot of traveling? The job of the acting itself does not necessarily involve a lot of traveling. Most people have home studios. If you live in a major metropolitan area, you can be just a voice actor commercially in that area because there are commercial auditions for all kinds of things, regional radio and TV spots, etc. Toys, commercials, whatever. But I live in Dallas where Funimation is. So I commute every day, I guess, because I live in Dallas and the studio is more in like the northwestern part of it, so it's like 40 minutes every day. But sometimes I work in Los Angeles. So in the past year, in fact, I've been flying to LA a lot. I have some wonderful frequent flyer miles now. Over the summer, I was so involved in a particular show that I had to be there weekly. So I was going and directing as well. That was really hard. So I had conventions some weekends, and then I would fly from the convention home, pack a new bag, go to LA just for a day, and go back to Funimation and direct and act for the other 4 days. So there's that. Conventions, you travel a lot for, but that isn't the job of voice acting. That's more like a promotion of myself and my work and my friends' work and what my company does. It's just an opportunity to interact with you guys. So I've been to, as we were mentioning before, the majority of the states in the union. I have maybe 6 or so that I haven't been to. I've been to Dubai. I've been to England for a con. I was supposed to go to New Zealand last year, but I had to bail on that because I got the directing gig again. So that was important. The most scenic place? Oh, that was the second question. What's the most scenic place? Oh, I went to Ireland last year. It was like a dream come true. So maybe say. China was really awesome too. It's a different type of scenic. It depends on like what appeals to you. Like seeing cityscapes, because in Shanghai that's pretty much what you see. And or is it about rolling hills and castles and things? Because that's Ireland. I really love London. I just love England. I lived in Spain also, so actually I think the most scenic place I've ever been is a place that I lived, so it didn't have anything to do with my job. I lived in Spain for a year and a half. So I've also been to Peru. I've been to Machu Picchu. That's pretty scenic. Yeah, not for a con. That'd be weird.
That would be awesome.
So yeah, travel the world. Do it. Find a way. It's worth it. Yes, ma'am.
Do you go to schools to speak to kids and stuff like that?
Do I go to schools to speak to kids? I haven't really. I'm going back to my university in about a month to speak to students in the program that I went through, which is a trip. I cannot believe that I'm doing that. My professor contacted me and was like, we'd love to have you come and speak. We're so proud of you. We've been following everything you're up to. And I'm like, what?
That's creepy.
Me? Okay, because I still feel like a work in progress. So I'm a little paranoid about, I gotta go tell, young up-and-coming actors, here's how you do it, kids. And I'm like, I don't know. But I haven't been, say, to elementary schools or middle schools, though I would be interested in doing something like that, for sure. Yes?
How would you charge for that?
Got me.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you would do it as just out of a nice gesture or
right? I don't know. Having
having
never done it, I think it's just something that would have to be negotiated. Have to be contacted by the school or the program and
Right.
kind of figure out what it is they need. And I could see how much of my time that was going to take.
Right.
But I couldn't just shout out a figure right now.
Right.
Okay. Cool question though. Yes, ma'am. My favorite voice actor to work with and why? Oh man. That's so hard. We're friends. I think the majority of voice actors love each other and are friends with one another. And the only reason we don't hang out more is because we work too much. So we work all day, we work all day. So that's like choosing a best friend. And you're like, but I have a best friend. I don't know. I can tell you folks that I have loved working with recently. Recently I've worked a lot with this voice actor named David Wald. David, who watches Fairy Tale? Fairy Tale fans? David is Gajiel in Fairy Tale. Gajiel. He's so talented. And I've never worked with him until now on a show. I can't tell you what it is. But I adore the character that he plays. And so, like all week, this past week, I've been looking forward to Friday, because Friday was David Day. Like David's gonna be my group all day. And I was like, yay! And another actor I really love working with is my friend. His name's Rico Fajardo. You guys probably don't know much of his stuff yet because he's still pretty new. He's the lead in his show called Absolute Duo that I directed. He's in another show that I can't tell you about, and another show that I can't tell you about, and something in Show by Rock. If you've seen Show by Rock, he's one of the twins. There's like Vic's character, and then there's twins that play instruments, and he's one of them. Anyway, he's a really great guy, and I guess I picked him for now. Ask me later, and I'll pick a couple different ones. Right here, you haven't asked one. My favorite Disney movie is The Little Mermaid. Woo! Yeah, I love it. Well, actually, I often say that The Little Mermaid is my favorite movie of all time. And then another Disney movie that I adore, probably second to The Little Mermaid, is Fantasia, actually. Yay!
2000 or original?
The original. Nothing wrong with 2000 because you can't beat the music. I mean, seriously, it's awesome. But I love Fantasia since I was a little kid. My mom took me to see it in the movie theater because they would bring movies out, bring Disney movies back to the theater every once in a while. And I don't think they put the original Fantasia back out until the year 2000 when they released the second one. And I went and saw it in IMAX, watched like the first Fantasia, and then stayed in your seat and watched the next one. But when I was really young, like, I don't know, 8 or 10, my mom took me to see the original one. It was awesome because she was like, I saw this in the theater when I was a kid, and really solidified my love for classical music and incredible animation. I can probably do one more question right over here.
You said growing up you love cartoons. I was here, one cartoon here, and I'm like, I don't even care.
It's funny. When I was younger, I couldn't do these voices. I actually didn't really mimic the cartoon characters that I watched. I was super into like Animaniacs and Tiny Toons. As a kid, my friends and I would pick our favorite characters, kind of like you do now with anime. And we would write to each other, like all the notes we wrote in class were in character. And who was I? My best friend was Dot, and I think I was Wacko Warner. My friend Karen, who talked a lot, was Yakko, but I'm pretty sure I was Wacko because I was the only one who could do that like Liverpudlian accent. But I can't do that voice now. I could apparently do it when I was, 13. But now I also love Powerpuff Girls. That was more a like late high school and college thing. So I can do. I met Tara Strong once and I was like, oh my god! And otherwise, it's more recent cartoons that, who likes Fairly Odd Parents? Yeah! I took my Wanda! I don't know how, I just discovered it in the car one day. I was on my way to rehearsal for a play, and I needed to go over my lines, and I wanted to make sure that they were in my head just no matter what, so I decided to do a different voice while I did them, just driving, so that I wouldn't be thinking about it too much, just to make sure that the lines would just flow out without thinking. And I was like just goofing, and that's the voice that came out. So when I got to the theater, I did some of the lines of the character for my fellow actor, and he goes, "You have to perform the show like that." I'm like, "No, I can't." It's like, just do it. But everyone's gonna think that I'm trying to be Wanda. But the show is set in like 1880s Texas, so there's no reason, and it's like a comedy improv show. She's like, just do it, do it. And I'm like, okay. And at this point, we've been practicing for a couple of weeks already, and I come out and I'm like, hello! And they're like, we love it, keep doing it. So for a whole year, that show ran for a whole year. I got to do that voice on stage. And every once in a while, because in my bio it says, what else I do for a living, and it said voice acting. Every once in a while, during meet and greet with the, not the cast, I'm the cast, folks who came to see the show, the audience, like people would be like, "Are you Wanda?" And really awkward. I was like, no, not at all. I just randomly can do that voice. I can, to Cosmo, I don't know. What? Cosmo, you're an idiot! Timmy, that's not in the rules! Cosmo and Wanda! I can do that one too. I can do Timmy Turner also. I guess, I don't know, do I better go? Well, the other panel went over. Granted, he was like proposing to his girlfriend, so that's kind of why. Okay, last one. She's being so sweet. Do I do what? I am evergreen and fairy tale.
Oh God.
Do I what? Elfman. Of course. Yeah. So this has been really fun. If you guys had a question or you thought of one like just now, you can ask me in the autograph line. That's totally fine when you get up to the table. So don't bum rush me. I'm headed to the autograph area. I gotta gather up my stuff, and I will see you guys back.